Alright, hello and welcome to the first episode of the Best Review Spot Live. Today we're talking about Inheritance, the final installment in the famous Inheritance cycle. With me is Masked Builder and I'm Keegan Pauls. And so we want to start out by talking about the ending, because obviously any last book in a series, you gotta see if it finishes off the series in a good way. So what do you think about it?
I thought the ending was pretty good, and he kept to the ending that he had to keep to with the fortune that he was told by Angela in the first book, and he integrated it and added a bunch of stuff that made it really good.
Yeah, and that being said, I found the ending to be almost bittersweet because it's not the happiest ending that the whole set of characters could have gone through, but it was what was necessary, and that shows how much Aragon, the main character, has grown throughout the series, because at the beginning I don't think he would have made the same choices that he did at the end. And of course, I have to say so obviously we should go on and talk about the content a little bit, starting with obviously the violence. It's fantasy.
Yeah.
What do you say?
He did a really good job describing the battles. They were just so descriptive, almost like he's been in one. Something like that. They're just really descriptive, and with the massive amounts of people that are in a battle, he does a good job of keeping it under control.
Yeah, and there was one scene where Roran, who readers should all know, actually gets shot. No, there's no spoiler there. He does get shot with an arrow, and it almost seemed like the author, Christopher Paolini, had actually been shot with an arrow at one point in his life. That's how good he is. And then, of course, with any book, you gotta check the language and make sure it's okay. And, I mean, there was he uses the dwarf language for some of it, and he says blast. And putting it up on the bottom of the screen here, we're gonna put blanked out the worst word in the book, which occurs about 5 or 6 times. Would you say 5?
Yeah,
five
or
or 6.
6.
Okay, so that's that. And then of course, with this, it's magic that we need to talk about.
Yeah, he's created a very good world from book 1 with the magic. He's gone into describing the words and what they do, and suffixes for the words that are integrated into other words, like our language.
And it's actually not dark magic. It's fantasy magic, just like Star Wars, just like any of that other kind of stuff. Narnia, Lord of the Rings. So you don't need to worry about getting wrapped up in something that you don't want to go into. And so now all we gotta say is, what's our final opinion? I mean, we've told you all this about it. So let's hear Masked Builder's final opinion first.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5 because he did a really good job of keeping it to the storyline, and just because of the descriptiveness of everything. He describes the dragons really well, the battles, the main fortress where the king lives, and that stuff.
Yep, I gotta say, I also agree with what he said, and I give it a 4.5 out of 5 as well. I just gotta say that it's worth picking up. It was worth the wait, and that's what matters. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you with our next episode sometime soon.